Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I've got an episode of Sniper Sunday, the series where I play the Recon class. I'm going to be using bolt action and semi-auto sniper rifles, and we're going to be talking about how to play the Recon class and how to improve our game. The weapon of choice today is the Scout Elite. Now, I've got a soft spot in my heart for the Scout from Counter-Strike days. It was sort of the lesser of the two sniper rifles, but if you were good enough, you could definitely take down the competition. And the major benefit of the Scout Elite in Battlefield 4 is its Hipfire Accuracy, which sounds like a really risky thing to do with bolt action sniper rifles. I've put a laser sight on here to get the best possible hipfire accuracy, and I can get a pretty much guaranteed hit in very, very close quarter combat. Now, because all bolt action sniper rifles do 100 damage maximum, this means a body shot in extreme close quarters will one-shot somebody unless they are using the defensive perk, which is designed specifically to eliminate one-shot body shots in close quarters from bolt actions and shotguns. Personally, I hate body armor in Battlefield 4. I think it takes away from a skilled player because it's still very hard to get that body shot in close quarters with a bolt action sniper rifle. You have to be on your game, and by any means you are completely disadvantaged in close quarters against pretty much any other gun. So you should be rewarded for having accuracy, having very good skills, and by running the defensive perk, it kind of robs players of their kills and sort of just spits in their face for being good and accurate, and they're gonna die anyway. Because let's be honest, if you don't kill that person in your first shot in close quarters with a bolt action, you are going to die. The time it takes to switch to your sidearm in most cases is way too long to down a player, unless he's a complete noob and it takes him forever to try and figure out what's actually going on. Now, body armor issues aside, let's take a look at the stats from Simthic.com. You can see on the left here we have a 63 round per minute rate of fire. This means that it's going to be less than 1 second in between shots, although in close quarter intense combat 1 second is an extremely long time, plenty of time for somebody to kill you, so it's not necessarily going to be ideal or economical to actually rechamber a round in close quarters. If you miss your first shot, often just switching to your sidearm is a better alternative. Up next, we have a 640 meters per second muzzle velocity, making this the second fastest shooting sniper rifle in the game, only beat out by the M98B. This means that this gun is going to be excellent at shooting moving targets. I would normally say this also means it's going to be very good at hitting long distance targets. However, the Scout Elite has been given an unrealistic gravitational pull on the bullets. So the bullets of this gun actually drop twice as much as other weapons. So for hitting long range targets, you have to aim quite high above your opponent's head. So it's been purposely nerfed at long range because this gun is not really intended for doing too well at extreme long ranges. Now, most of these distances here that I'm engaging people at, I would consider medium range. And ultimately, the main reason why the Scout Elite is really just not great as an extreme long range rifle is that the damage model does not allow you to get a one-shot headshot kill at extreme long ranges. This is really unfortunate for the bolt action sniper, but it is sort of forced into the category that it is based on its damage model. You'll see it does 100 damage max, which we were talking about earlier, allows you to get that one-shot body shot in close quarters, but it drops off to 36.6 damage. Now, even though bolt action snipers still get a 2.35 headshot multiplier, that only comes out to around 86 damage, so you can no longer one-shot headshot people at the extreme ranges. So if you're the kind of player that wants to hang out in a bush, shoot at people from really far away, try and get those perfect headshots when people are standing still, I would not recommend the Scout Elite. You will get some of those headshots, and they will not kill your target. He'll have enough time to run away. The only other bolt action in the game that won't one-shot headshot kill at any distance is the FYJS. So the Scout Elite, FYJS, both fall into that category of weapons, of bolt actions that you're not going to want to use for extreme long range shooting. Now, the reload times on the Scout Elite are decent. It does have a relatively small magazine of 5, which can be a little bit tricky in close quarter situations. Again, you want to pick a sidearm that you're very comfortable with for these engagements, and here I've chosen the G18 and I'm using a tack light and some of those cool iron sights on it to help me out, and I definitely ended up using it a lot. In fact, sometimes if I felt like I was going to run into more than one guy, I would just pop out the G18 rather than try and hip fire. the bolt-action sniper. Now, it is fun hip firing this gun, but it is simply not a guaranteed hit. You can see my little crosshairs when I am just shooting from the hip, and that is basically the area of deviation. So it's a very big area regardless of whether or not you're using a laser pointer or not. The hip fire deviation on this weapon is 3.5, and the laser sight is going to further reduce that. Again, it is the most accurate bolt-action sniper rifle for hip fire out of any of the bolt actions in the game, but it still doesn't make it a great hip firing weapon. And despite the Scout Elite not being that great for extreme long range, I'm still using my 8x scope because, as I've said in multiple sniper videos, stick to one magnification scope for your bolt action rifles and get used to it. It'll allow you to switch between rifles using the same magnification scope. Don't try and switch to like 6x scope on one rifle and then back to 8x. You want to get used to the sensitivity and magnification of just one type of scope. The only exception to this rule is using the 14x variable zoom. Sometimes you find yourself in a situation on some maps where you really need that extra magnification and range to pick off headshots, and in that case the 14x variable zoom really does come in handy. Now, for most of this gameplay, I've gone with motion sensor grenades to try and help me pinpoint targets and avoid people from sneaking up on me. Being aware of your surroundings, your environment, is extremely important when trying to play the aggressive Recon, and it's pretty much impossible to do unless you are very much aware of what's going on around you. This is not an easy class to play. In fact, out of all the bolt-action sniper rifles, I would say this is one of the most difficult to use. It certainly provides you with some very cool hip-fire clips and some cool close-quarter action if you can pull it off. So if your goal is to make cool YouTube montages of the aggressive Recon, then this is probably the sniper rifle to use, but it's certainly not going to put you at the top of any scoreboards, and doing extremely well with it is going to be very, very difficult. It excels in the aggressive Recon style of gameplay. The only problem is that style of gameplay is near impossible, especially with Battlefield 4's netcode and just other things throwing you off the mark. Even if you are an extremely precise player, you have too many things going against you to actually make this a really efficient loadout. It's fun, but if your ultimate goal is to be really accurate and precise, then this is not going to pull it off. Now, here we are back in the land of glitchy no audio servers, but I had to throw this clip in here because I'm going to get a double headshot collateral, which I've only gotten once before. Actually, I think it was in the last Sniper Sunday, but it's still really cool when you manage to pull it off. So overall, I can't not like the Scout Elite because I think it's one of the cooler looking bolt action sniper rifles, and I love it from Counter-Strike. It's just a very, very hard gun to use. I think one of the main things holding back the aggressive Recon gameplay is the defensive perk, ruining your one-shot close quarter kills. I mean, I don't see any reason for that to be in the game since it's not a economical playstyle to go running around with a bolt action in close quarters. You're almost always going to lose out to somebody with an assault rifle. So if you're in the mood to torture yourself, or you really want to get some cool clips to show off on YouTube, try out the Scout Elite, throw the laser sight on there in whichever scope you prefer. Ultimately though, I don't think you're going to be impressing anybody on the scoreboard. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.